Hey, I visited Lake Loch Lucin in Alachua County, I think it was the day before you did, because I wanted to see firsthand what aquatic herbicide spraying is doing to the Florida lakes. And what I saw raised serious concerns for me and the long-term health of our lakes and ecosystems. Florida lakes and waterways are some of our greatest natural resources. Do you think repeatedly spraying herbicides into them for invasive weed control is sustainable? And would you support a full review of this whole environmental and for the health impacts?
Do I agree? It's that. 100%. I believe it's not good. Second question, I'm going to throw you off of my answer, but you'll understand the backside. Will I do a full review of it? No. I'm just going to stop it. Because it's the fruit. Go talk to your fishermen. Go talk to these guys who live on that guy there. I rode on an airboat with him. I went there. I did, but I grew up on the lake. I deal with airboaters every day. I'm part of an airboat association that's fighting for our waterways. The fruit is our fishing. I grew up fishing from the time I was 12. We grew up on the lake till I was 28, 20. I got saved really because I started saltwater fishing at 19. I watched what red tide does. I watched what Mosaic dumping all their poisons, all that. I've watched it kill our fish at Charlotte Harbor. I've seen all that. So no, the fix to all that is back to what I said before. Is your governor. I would get rid of all the FWC boards. You know, it's going to fix all your problems. Then get rid of all the other boards, which gets rid of all your problems. So yes, they're polluting waters. But it's back to the fruit. What is the fruit of it? You're killing our fisheries. People are getting sick. You're seeing it. We're losing our waterways. All this stuff. Our fish. Back when I used to fish in the 80s and 90s, you didn't have fish with all the sores and cuts. And I'm scared to eat a fish today. You know, what is the fruit of it? It is. We got to stop it.
Mechanical harvesting?
100%. That's why you do it. So the funny thing is, why? Can you answer me the question why they say they don't mechanical harvest? You know the answer to that?
Cost?
Cost and efficient. When has the government ever worried about cost or efficiency? Tell me when.
It costs them more in the long run.
They never have. They never care about cost and efficiency.
It costs them more in the long run when they spray.
It's all.
They have to demuck that stuff.
This stuff right here.
Toxic.
That green stuff in the pocket. It's all buddies. We know the system. It's all buddies making money. I grew up with a kid. I know that. Aquatic is right across from my house. I watch airboats go up and down the road every day. Here's the funny story. So when I was 16, my first job was washing airplanes at the local airport. We washed the mechanical shop. I would wash them, clean them, mop the floor, clean the shop after stuff, take trash out. I was just cleanup boy, do boy. But what I watched was, I didn't know at the time, but aquatic, every time they fly their airplane. I'm like, why do you need an airplane for? Fly to Tallahassee. Now I look back and they're flying to Tallahassee. Making backdoor deals, making deals, whatever. So me as a governor, number one thing, I want to get lobbyists out of Tallahassee.
Get them out.
I want to get PACs out of Florida. You shouldn't have PACs.
Yeah.
We got to have seats being voted in, not bought in. I have a candidate, y'all know him. He's raised $80 million. Everybody raised by war chest. I'm like, I don't cuss, but that should scare the heck out of you. That's showing you why would companies want to invest $5 million, $10 million into a candidate? Only the way to do it, they're making money. When do we become somewhere an investment pot for people to make money off of? You know what I'm saying? These seats are being bought in instead of voted in. Get rid of PACs, make it a level playing field, just like me. So the funny thing is, I had a guy call me, he was an REC, one of the head REC guys. He called me, he's like, man, one of y'all's got to back out. I said, I'm not backing out. Number one, because God told me to run. God's got to tell me to back out before I'm doing anything. God told me that. And I'm probably not going to do it anyway, because I bring hope everywhere I go. I said, he's like, these guys are raising money. He said, yeah, Brenner spent $4 million. I said, yeah. He said, how much do you spend? I said, $40,000. And he says, and you're growing in the polls and they're stuck in the polls. Exactly. I said, you should want a governor who can run a statewide candidate with the top guys.
Knows what they're doing, knows what's going on.
If you look at social media, which is really our media today, they won't even put me in the polls. But if you look at the comments, I'm 40 to 80% of them comments. Y'all know that, y'all see that. That's the reason why they don't want me there. But if I can run a statewide, then they told me I couldn't do it. They told me that you had to have a minimum of $20 million. I was told $50 million, $20 million, $90 million to run a statewide governor candidate. And I'm sitting here today and I travel, we're booked every night this week across the state. And everywhere we go, people love. And I've had people, and I'll say this, I've had people come and they were staunch Byron Donalds fans. But when I left the room, they walked up to you and said, you wouldn't change my mind, you couldn't change my mind, but you changed my mind now, today. Because what we need godly character in here that ain't gonna be bought. You know, we're tired of seats being bought in. We're tired, we're frustration. We see it with AI data centers, right? I watched Fort Meade. I was just yesterday or day before. I can't remember. Last night we were in AI data. Last night? I do so many meetings over here. It was last night we were down in Anna Marie Island, Raging area, talking about data centers, fighting against it. You know, everybody's tired of it. We fill rooms up. We've watched rooms, 400 or 500 people get in there, and the city commission still votes 6-0 against the people.
Yeah. Well,
People are tired. We don't have a voice. It's no longer we the people. You know, and that's what people are tired of, and they're frustrated. It's the reason why you see other parties being started, all this stuff, because we don't have a voice no more. So we got to get PACs out of it. We got to get, you know, seats quit being bought in and all that kind of stuff. And I want to see voter fraud, treason on our country.
whoa.
20 years minimum.
There you go.
We got to have accountability. We got to start putting these people in jail. If not, we've seen, I think, just another election here today. A couple of weeks ago, there was one in Miami. A machine was hijacked. Whatever happened to these guys, it still keeps happening. Until you put a 20-year, 30, if you bring a load of cocaine in, they put you in for life, 20, 30 years. But you can steal an election, which is totally treason on our country. Every aspect, every being of the Constitution, Bill of Rights is being totally destroyed. And they get a slap on the wrist or nothing happens. You know, people are fed up. They're tired of the establishment. They're tired of all of it. They want a voice. And until we get a godly person in there, you ain't gonna have a voice. And that's what's gonna change.